Hi, friends. Okay, remember we're in book 2. So, let's see. Part 2, book 2. And in book 2, part 2, this is chapter 1. The signature. Hugo sat trembling beside the mechanical man. Of course he recognized the drawing. It was the scene his father had described from his favorite childhood movie. So Hugo had been right. The message was from his father. But what did it mean? That's when the children realized that the mechanical man wasn't finished. It seemed to have stopped mid-line, as if it was pausing. Hugo watched as one more time the mechanical man dipped his pen into the ink. Then it moved his hand into a position and signed a name. Dun, dun, dun. Can you read that? It says, Georges Méliès. That's Papa George's name, said Isabelle. She looked completely confused. Why did your father's machine sign Papa George's name? She looked at Hugo in wonder, but then her expression changed and she glared at him. You lied to me. This isn't your father's machine. Hugo stared blankly ahead. This didn't make any sense at all. Are you listening to me, Hugo? This is not your father's. Hugo looked up at her and wiped his eyes. Yes, it is, he said quietly. Then why did it sign Papa George's name? Why did my key fit into it? I don't know, he answered. You're a liar, yelled Isabelle. You stole this machine from somewhere. You stole it from Papa George's. The notebook probably isn't even yours. You must have stolen that too. I didn't steal it. Liar, said Isabelle. It was my father's notebook. He drew it. I don't believe anything you say, Hugo. Isabelle took her key from the mechanical man's back, put the necklace from where it dangled back around her neck, and grabbed the drawing from the little desk. What are you doing? Hugo said as he took hold of the paper in Isabelle's hand. Give that to me. It has my godfather's name on it. It's mine. The two of them struggled for the drawing, and it ripped completely in half. After a moment of stunned silence, Isabelle took her half, got up, and started walking toward the door. Hugo quickly pocketed his half of the drawing and chased after Isabelle, leaving the mechanical man in the middle of the room. Where are you going? Hugo yelled. I'm going to Mama Jean's to see what's going on. Stop following me. The children ran through the train station. It was late at night and the building was quiet. There was still a little time before the old man left the toy booth, so Isabelle hurried home as fast as she could. Go away, Hugo Cabret, she called to him, but he was right on her heels. Hugo knew he should have put the mechanical man back into its hiding place, and he should be checking the clocks, but there wasn't time now. As he followed Isabelle out the door, he prayed the station inspector had gone home for the night. The children ran down the dark streets of the neighborhood and through the graveyard toward Isabelle's apartment. Hugo called after her. Where did you get the key? Tell me that at least. No, said Isabelle. Did you find it? Was it a gift from someone? Hugo caught up with her and grabbed her shoulder, spinning her around to face him. They locked eyes. Leave me alone. Isabelle opened the door to her apartment building and pushed Hugo away. He reached for the edge of the door with one hand, trying to keep it open. Let go, she said. She pushed as hard as she could and slammed the door, crushing Hugo's fingers. Hugo heard an awful crunch, and he screamed in pain. Isabelle screamed too and opened the door. What's going on down there? Shouted Isabelle's godmother from the top of the steps. You should have moved your hand, whispered Isabelle. Isabelle, what's going on? Who's with you? Isabelle tried to push Hugo away, but seeing him cradling his hand under his arm, she shook her head and let him come upstairs. Tears were streaming down his face, even though he didn't want to be crying. Isabelle slipped off her shoes before she went into the apartment, and she helped Hugo do the same. No shoes in the apartment, she whispered, and don't mention the mechanical man or the key. I'll ask her later by myself. Isabelle's godmother clutched a silver brooch at her neck and said, Who is this? His name is Hugo, Mama Jean. The boy who's been working for Papa George's? The one who stole from him? He caught his fingers in the door downstairs. What is he doing here? Before Isabel could answer, the old woman led Hugo into the bedroom. "Come here, let me see this in the light," she said. She moved the socks she had been darning and sat him down on a chair near the large wooden armoire underneath a lamp. She took his hand and tried to straighten his fingers. Again, Hugo screamed in pain. "You've hurt yourself pretty badly, young man." She disappeared for a few moments and came back with some chips of ice wrapped in a cloth napkin, which she handed to Hugo. "Here, hold this on your fingers." Then she turned to Isabel. "I thought you were coming home tonight with Papa Georges." Hugo was still angry that Isabel hadn't told her godfather that she had stolen the notebook herself, and considering what she had done to his hand, he thought she should at least tell her godmother. But all Isabel did was look at him. Hugo winced in pain as he balanced the ice on his bruised fingers, which were resting on his lap. With his good hand, he removed his half of the drawing from his pocket and said, "We have something we want to ask you." "Not now, Hugo!" "I said not now!" yelled Isabel. She tried to snatch the drawing away from her godmother, but it was too late. The old woman had already taken it. "Where did you get this?" she asked in a stunned whisper. "Give her the other half of the drawing, Isabel," said Hugo. Reluctantly, Isabel reached into her pocket. She took out her half of the drawing. Holding the two halves, Isabel's godmother looked from the paper to the children. "A mechanical man drew it," said Hugo. "That's not possible. I don't understand," said the old woman, her eyes filling with tears. "I have the mechanical man," said Hugo. "You stole it, you mean," said Isabel. "You have the mechanical man? But that can't be." "I found it." "What do you mean, you found it?" Isabel's godmother asked. "I found it after the fire in the museum," said Hugo. "I fixed it with pieces from your husband's toy booth, and I wound it up using Isabel's key." "What key?" Isabel's face turned white. "What key, Isabel?" Slowly, Isabel reached into the neck of her dress and pulled out the key on its chain. "My key!" cried her grandmother. "I thought I'd lost it." Tears formed in Isabel's eyes. "I'm sorry, You stole it?" said Hugo, shocked. "It's the only thing I've ever taken, I swear. I just thought it was pretty," Isabel said to her godmother. "Please don't be mad at me. I thought you wouldn't miss it." "Oh, heavens!" The old woman brushed her hair from her face. "I'm surrounded by thieves." She collected herself, wiped her eyes, and put down the two halves of the drawing. Hugo quickly snatched them up. A change came over the old woman as she straightened her dress and said, "Take that drawing away. We can't dredge up the past now. And whatever happens, don't let Papa Georges see it. And put the key back in your dress, Isabel. You need to take good care of it." She wiped her eyes again. Isabel smiled slightly and tucked the key back into her dress. "Please tell us what's going on," said Hugo. "No. The only thing I'll say is that I need to protect my husband, and the best way for me to do that is just to forget about all of this. Trust me, we must never speak of it again."